Hello, this is Christian. In this video, I'm going to go over the example of converting a JSON string data to the object in JavaScript. Okay, so they look very similar. With the caveat is that you have to have wrapped string in JSON data with a single quote. Okay, or a quote. Basically, it's a long string. All right, I'm going to grab this and we're just going to copy it and then paste it into the code. And usually, again, you want to set to a data. So you can say data is that. All right. So again, here, I'm using ES6 version. So it allows you to put the backtick. Notice if I change it to a single quote like that, it will fail because it does not allow multi-line for your code for strings, right? It has to be a single line only. So if you anytime when you want to use multi-line in your JavaScript string, use the backtick. So this is now a JSON data, and the reason why it's JSON data is because it's a string, right? With a backtick, it's a single string. So if I save this, and let's see if I go up here, and let me just, if I save that, and because I'm using the script on the index file, so back at the browser, if I go ahead and reload this, let's see in the developer tool F12. And then in the console, I can type data, and that should show me the data in JSON string notation here. Okay, so this is the string. It's kind of hard to see here. Let me load on Chrome because the developer tool is a little bit better. I'm gonna go back in here and I'll load this on Chrome. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, so here is in Chrome, and I'll use the F12 key again. Just gotta maximize this a little bit. All right, so the console, again, data. This is the data in string format, right? So because it's a string, I cannot access the data, the key, by going something like data.key1. Okay, as you can see, it's not found because it's a string. As you can see, it's a single, in the double quotes here. So to convert this to object, you can use a built-in function called parse. Okay, so JSON.parse will convert this JSON string into object format. And once it's in object notation, you can then access the key through the dot notation. So right here on the browser, I'm going to do here is much quicker this way, since I have access to the data object, variable. And so I'm going to create a new variable called JSON JData. Okay, I'm going to assign this to the JSON object, and there are two functions in here. One's called the parse, and the other is because it's stringify. So this reverses the other two. So I'm going to use the parse. The parse is to convert a JSON string, which is data in this case, to object. And when I do that, as you can see, there's an error, and we'll have to fix that because, again, it's very sensitive. And I can see the error because of these two variables here, right? Values. This is a value. This is not acceptable in JSON data. It has to be string in this case. So it doesn't recognize the token M. All right. So M is not found in 176. Again, that's hard to locate, but I'm going to go in there and fix that. So back in here, that means if it's a string, then this also has to be a string. I could put a number here, just say 50, and then the boolean would be false this time. Okay. So no comma there, right? Again, that's not allowed. Here also is not allowed. So make sure there's no comma there. Again, let's save this back in the browser. So I'm going to go back here again, and let me refresh. So again, data is a string, not this browser. Use the other one. It's just easier. Okay, so data string. Now JData is equal to parse JSON data. Okay, it's still an error. JSON data is not defined. Yes, I didn't call JSON data. just data. Okay. All right, so now you can see that it converts to data already, object already, because I can see it here. So key 1 is a string, key 2 is 12, and so on. So key 1, key 2, and so on. So now I can access the data. Let me clear this by going to JData. It's an object, and you expand this, you see that it has a key 1, has the value, key 2, key 3, key 4, and so on. So key 3, key 4 is another object. So inside has 3 keys, and then this key 5 is an array. Okay, so to access the data in the key 1, I can now just say jdata.key1 and jdata.key2, and you can see how easy this is coming from a JSON data standpoint, right? You can just convert this back and forth. Now again, the purpose of JSON data is so that you can transmit this data in a string format to another server, another site. But once it's in this object notation or this object format, you cannot transfer object over because it's just RAM, right? So then to access the key 4 inside the key 1 here, then you would say data.key4 dot key 1 has an error. Let's see what happened here. Key 4 key 1. Do you have an error here? Oh, it's not data. It's JData. Let's clear again. JData. That's the object here. I want to get a key 4 with the key 1 here. I go jdata.key4 dot key 1. So there it is. Okay. If I want to get the mouse, I will have to go jdata.key5. And this is an array, so I cannot do like mouse, right? It doesn't work because that's not the key. The key is the index. In this case, it would be index 2. So I have to reference the index by using the square bracket. Index 2, that will give me mouse. Okay? So you can see how easy this is by converting back and forth into object and string. So if you want to convert this data back to JSON string, then you would do the same thing, except this time you use the stringify function. So to go back, I'm going to go JString for JSON string, and then I'm going to go JSON.stringify, another function that takes an object, in this case the JData object. Okay, and then it converts it back to string, as you can see, just a string of data inside the JString. Okay, so now it's JSON string. And again, because of that, I cannot access the data directly because it's just a string. All right. So this is how you would convert between the two. And again, back in the code here, this is a JSON data. If you take out the quote here, it's now an object. Just like that. Because object is not as sensitive as the JSON, which means I can put a comma here if I want, and the last piece, it should still be fine. And as you can see, I can put a code around it if I have to. If I don't put it, it's still okay. Okay, JavaScript will still take it. Okay, so as you can see, I can take that out. The key 3, I can take that out, and it's completely fine. If I save that below on the browser and refresh this again, so now data is actually an object. As you can see, it's object here. So I can access the data, the key 12, just like before. Key 2 gives me 12. The key 3, which is a I had earlier, so again, say data dot key 4 dot key 3. It gives me false. And to convert this to string, which is JString, again like before, right? JSON stringify data, in this case just data, and then that now brings back to string. Okay, so I hope this is helpful and clarifies things a little bit on the different ways of you can convert back and forth between the two. Just make sure that, again, when you create a JSON data, a string, you have to convert it to object to use it in your JavaScript. And the next couple of weeks, I think 2 weeks from now, when we learn the Ajax, where you can pass data around from a file to your script. Instead of having directly embed inside the script itself, you can actually access data on a file through Ajax, and we'll do that next time. So if there's any questions, again, shoot me an email or let me know.